Today, I'd like to talk about working in bars and restaurants within Spain, working contracts, and especially tips. Recently, I've been in the newspapers about tipping that has been done less because people now pay with cards and leave comments on the pages with stars and everything. So let's take a look at it. That the people from the restaurants and hotels and bars and stuff from this area, Soria, they say, well, yes, the culture of tipping has changed due to the people by paying by card, electric, or by mobile. So everything now is changed, and they say, well, of course, it's different than in other countries. They mention over here is the United States. You have to calculate everything. Over here in Spain, it's not like that at all. Basically, what you have over here in Spain is well, if it's like €4.50, you leave €5 like that. Or if it's €4.80, you leave €5. If it's like €8, leave €10. If it's €9, leave €10. You just round it up. Or if you have like, okay, I've got some spare pocket change, you leave that. You leave like €1 or two or three, depending. And yes, some people are bigger tippers than others. Spanish people in general are not very big tippers. English people are. So many bars and restaurants are, for that reason, very happy to receive English people. Um, and yeah, there's different kinds of groups who tip better than others, than like that. Now with the coming, of course, of paying by card and or by phone, many people don't have any spare change within the pockets anymore. And what they're stating over here basically is that now people leaving comments on the websites, leaving stars, 1 star, 2 star, 3 stars, 4 stars. The culture is changing, saying that basically due to that, um, it's no longer very much needed to tip because it's more appreciated for people to leave a comment. There's much to be said about this. Now, first of all, I need to say I am no expert. I am no expert at this at all. I'm just somebody who lives here in Spain. I have worked in bars and restaurants. I have, I have gone through all this, and I can only speak from my experience. And my experience is like, yes, please leave a tip. Yeah, you can write a comment on a website, which is nice for the owner, but it's still very nice to receive a tip. Um, if you are happy with the service, if you're happy with that, please let the people who are working there know. Why? I will tell you. Many bars and restaurants have people working really, really long hours, like sometimes 10, 12 hours. And yes, they work a long hours, especially during the summers. Also, they most of the time people can leave a comment on the website. The owners won't. Yeah, well, if they have time, fantastic. But I can imagine most of them don't even see many of the comments. Um, Definitely, the people working there don't see them unless they really specifically go to the website, which many of them don't, and many are working for a really low salary. I'm speaking from my own experience. I didn't really have bad bosses. I know people who did. For example, I worked my shifts. I only got paid like €5 per hour, and you work quite long days. And yeah, you get paid. It wasn't bad, but still, it's not that much, especially if you have to pay all your bills, rent, everything. It's not much. And for myself, I have children, so my bills are even higher than most of my colleagues were. I still had to pay babysitter bills and everything. And the babysitters are like asking 10 to 15 euros an hour while I was working five. So, yeah, that was absolutely fantastic. I know of colleagues of mine who received contracts, for example, only for 2 hours a day. So that's 10 hours a week, while they were working 10 to 14 hours a day. And legally, that means that on paper, they would only get paid this amount of money and the rest would be, under the table. It doesn't take away that they still work 10 to 14 hours a day and many times even 6 to 7 days a week. And they get paid really little. And yeah, and I'm talking about like 800 to 900 euros a month. So this is a really low amount, and especially within the areas that are very, very popular for the tourists to come for. For example, like Benidorm, that happens quite a lot, especially some of the bigger restaurants, bigger bars, or they have people working there long hours, long days. And yes, the contracts need to be in order. Yes, the company and the bars and restaurant are obligated to have like hour sheets that people need to sign, just in case they get a check, because they can get checked, so that the people will come in, check the lists, and everything must be in order, or else they get fined. But then again, yeah, it's much to say about that. It's very easy to go around it, and I know many, many, many friends of mine who worked way more hours for very, very little money. So yes, please leave a tip. Um, so that's one thing. I have another one over here saying basically exactly that. Go away. This gentleman over here, he has a bar or restaurant, and he says, well, it's very easy. You just let them work for hours, you pay them really well, and it's all sorted. And they're talking about this, and then there's the other person saying, well, I don't know, but somehow it doesn't really add up that you have them on a contract for 4 hours, and then you tell them um, um, that you pay them for 8 hours, and then it's in the end it's 900 euros a month for just a temporary contract. So it just doesn't really add up, and it's correct. It's correct. So yes, you get a lot of restaurants and bars that offer you just 4 hour contracts, 2 hour contracts, and it's temporary contracts, and you get about this a month. And yeah, and then they're arguing, no, it's good, it's enough, because it's only students and young people, they don't really need it. Excuse me. Like, yes, they need it, of course they need it, especially students and young people. They work really hard, and most of the people that I know working in Spanish bars and restaurants are no longer young people, students, or no, I'm sorry, they're above 30, 40. They're not young people anymore. They're working really hard, because basically for many people coming over here to Spain and starting a new life, this is literally the first step, because this is where I could find a job with my language skills. So this is like the easy step in. um if you can say it like this, it's either working in a bar in a restaurant, working in a call center. And yeah, those are basically the options if you uh, lack the Spanish language skills. So you still need to learn it. You still need to. So you need just still. In the meantime, you're learning the Spanish. You still need to find a job. Still need to pay the bills, pay the rent, everything else. It still needs to be done, and it doesn't matter. Nobody cares which age you are. Nobody cares if you got like 50 years or 20 years. You work the same hours. You get the same pay. They don't discriminate against all of that at all, which is good. Um, but yeah, they clearly know that you need a job, and they clearly know that you're willing to work those long hours because you need to work those long hours. You need that contract. The sad thing is that with a temporary contract, you cannot do anything. So you can it's very, very difficult to find a house, to rent a house, or to even get a mortgage to buy a house. It's very difficult. You cannot do that from a temporary contract. You need to find a job that will give you a full contract for the 40 hours. And then it needs to be not temporary, but steady, like indefinite. And then at least for 1 year, if you have that indefinite contract at least for 1 year, then finally you can go to the bank and, okay, listen, this is my contract, this is my income, give me a mortgage, I can now finally buy a house. Well, it's not that easy, but yeah, those are the basic main steps that you need to have to go to a bank and get the mortgage. So yeah, and many young people, there's lots of houses here in Spain that are really not expensive at all. They are not in the big cities, and definitely not in Benidorm, where everybody wants to be. Over there, they're a bit more expensive, but there are lots of very cheap houses that are definitely, good to start with. But you just cannot get there if you only get a temporary contract and a very low pay. So yes, tipping, even though you get all the comments on the websites and yeah, I have fantastic staff and everybody's smiling and everybody's happy. Yes, great for the owners, but in my opinion, please keep tipping, because yeah, it really is needed. I can remember definitely that even at the end of the day, working so hard together with the colleagues, we sat down, we had the tip jar, we spread the tip jar. It's like we were with 5 or 6 people. So, okay, this is my tip, this is your tip, this is everything all together. Now, evenly, divide this so that everybody get an equal share of all the tips from that day. And you really needed that, because if you have 900 euros to go on a month, and you have a rent to pay, especially in Benidorm, which is already very easily 700-800 euros. And that's really easy. Right, if it's just a 1 bedroom apartment, you already have a rent of 500-600 euros easy, and that is absolutely cheap. That's not in the center of Venice, it's a little bit outside, so it's a little bit 5 minutes away. But yeah, the rents are not low, they're not cheap, they're not, that it's not easy to even come by it, and you still need to pay all the bills. So 900 euros is not much. So yeah, in my opinion, please keep tipping. Even though you write a nice comment on, yeah, it's a fantastic bar, please go there. We were absolutely happy and 5 stars, yay! Keep tipping, because it's nice for the owner, but the people actually working there, they really do still need that tip. So I can absolutely tell you from experience, from my own experience, please continue tipping, because they really need it. It's really, really needed. At this moment, I don't know anything else. I definitely will make a video specifically about how and what to expect when you go and work in a restaurant or a hotel or bars and anything like that, what it's like, what my experiences are. So I'll keep you posted. Thank you.